John, I had to cut you off because of the break, but please continue with your thought.
Right. We just got into Pearl Harbor, and the attack that worked almost perfectly. They didn't catch the American aircraft carriers there, but otherwise it went according to plan. But it's only 7 months from there till the American crushing defeat of the Japanese at Midway, using outdated planes, outnumbered, inferior technology, and superior improvisation and dynamic critical self-analysis. And the Chinese aren't going to be aware of that. They're going to see why it happened. But hovering over them. How do the Western societies keep winning wars they ought to lose? We should have lost World War II, probably should have lost World War I, but we didn't. But we need to communicate to the Chinese leadership that we have your number. Okay. And there is a place for you in a peaceful and civilized world if you could just calm down a bit and stop trying to conquer everything and be less horrifyingly communist. But if you push this, you're going to wind up in the graveyard of the tyrants who thought the West was weak and decadent.
Yeah, no, great point. But that does lead us to my next question, which is, from your point of view and from the point of view of history, are Western leaders correctly grappling with how to respond to this challenge?
I should think it's highly unlikely. We have a very strong track record of not doing it. The extent to which the West gets caught unprepared in war after war, even with the Battle of the Bulge, right after the Germans sort of drive through the left flank of the French in 1914 and again in 1940, we say in 1944, well, that could never happen. But there is this extraordinary resilience, including in the governance of free societies. There are reasons we don't have time to get into here to worry that Western societies are less resilient than they used to be, including, I will mention, the loss of religious faith. That's actually a more serious problem than people think. But luckily, it doesn't seem to matter that our leaders are caught napping, because they consistently are. And remember Churchill versus Neville Chamberlain sort of scenario. But the world is moving faster, so I think it's more dangerous than it used to be. The idea that Justin Trudeau is ready for this is laughable. Joe Biden, on the other hand, though there are concerns about his health, he's one of the last of the Cold War liberals like Henry Jackson. He understands the menace of China, and I hope to goodness the American military does. And we need a military. What would it matter if we did know, if we don't prepare? And we went into World War II, where we had 6 tanks. We had guys drilling literally on infantry exercises with sticks shouting bang. Well, they're not going to give us 6 months or a year this time. So if we know what's going on, we need to double our military budget. I know that sounds crazy, but we do. We need to double our military budget because freedom is worth defending. That's the other lesson, surely, from all these struggles, all these crises, all these victories snatched from the jaws of defeat, is that freedom has to be defended, and freedom is worth defending.
Do you get that sense that Canadian society is up to that challenge right now?
I think Canadian society is up to it to a much greater extent than our government. It's remarkable how much more common sense there is on strategic matters, it seems to me, among the general populace. And again, I think that's always been true. I think that most normal people disliked Hitler a lot more than most politicians did until the crunch came in 1939. But it has to be focused in effective ways. I mean, look at the number of people in our military. How are we going to expand our military to fight a high-tech war if one should erupt? It took years to get the hang of things in World War I. In World War II, we almost lost it all in the first 6 months. So I think it's there latent. But I think we shouldn't just sit around counting on our good luck. I think we need to get a little more focused on the fact that we live in a dangerous world, and far and away the most dangerous thing in it is China and its growing sort of ominous alliances with other weaker but equally unpleasant forces.